Hey, welcome back everybody to Survive Outdoors. If you're not aware, we specialize in wilderness medicine. We do safety tips. We do a lot of photography in terms of injuries that we experience, and we show you how to take care of those. We do gear reviews. I've been asked numerous times over the last few weeks, what do I carry in my medical kit? So today I'm going to go through a medical kit that I carry every day, as well as a larger kit that is kind of my base camp edition, and that's where I store a lot of things to then replenish my smaller kit. So what would a physician assistant of 40 years carry in their kit? It might surprise you. Here we go. All right, here we go. I have changed over the years, but now I'm using a Vanquest tough built gear. It's about 9 inches by 6 inches. Weighs about a half a pound packed, and I really like this a lot. It's very durable. You can strap it on the outside of your pack, you can put it on the inside, and that's usually what I carry hiking and backpacking. That's it. That's that little bitty thing right there. Trauma shears, I've had these forever. They've yellowed, and what's nice about this is we can flip it open and it folds wide open like that. And over on this side, we have Bacitracin topical wound, and it's really overkill. If you're on a weekend excursion, you really don't even need to carry this. Most individuals you'll see on YouTube, they're talking about using Neosporin or a triple antibiotic cream. I do not use this. In fact, none of the clinics I've worked at, we don't even stock it. Neomycin and Neosporin and neomycin and triple antibiotic, about 7 to 10% of the population has an allergic dermatitis to it, so we don't even use it. Heck with that. All right, chapstick, for the obvious reasons, for your lips in the cold winter months. It helps, and I'm sure everyone knows it's also used to start fires. It's excellent. It's got petroleum in it. Put in some cotton balls or some gauze and it'll help with that. Diphenhydramine, Benadryl, obviously for allergic reactions, a must. I'm going to jump over here to this side where I have Pepsid, and the Pepsid is awesome. It's a histamine 2 blocker. So if you have an allergic reaction, if you've gone to look at our video on wasp and bee stings, and I'll put that at the end of this video so you can easily get to it. Take your Benadryl and your Pepsid at the same time. It works fantastic. We have a visitor here, evidently. A lot of birds out here today. So, Pepsid AC. I hear you. Advil, ibuprofen, and acetaminophen Tylenol. So around 4 years ago, I know they were working pretty hard on it. They just came out last year with Advil Duo Action, combination of both of these. For the last 20 years, we have talked a lot about, and Survive Outdoors, taking the Tylenol and the ibuprofen at the same time. They have to work on 2 different pathways. It works great to alleviate pain. Word of caution on the ibuprofen. There's a warning for hypertension with it, as well as if you have aspirin allergy, do not advise you taking ibuprofen. Also, if you're an asthmatic, taking ibuprofen can exacerbate an asthma attack. So any of those conditions, caution with the ibuprofen. And since we're talking about that, any of these meds, red dye and Benadryl, if you have any allergic reaction, use with caution. If you have a question and you want to talk about, another option, write it down below and I'll give you suggestions. On the antihistamines for allergies, you should know that there's Zyrtec, Benadryl, Allegra, Zylzal, chlorotrimeton, and Claritin. Out of all of those, allegedly the fastest reaction is sertazine is Zyrtec. You take a pill of Zyrtec, you should start feeling effects in 15 to 20 minutes. The close second would be Benadryl, around 20 to 30 minutes. So I'm a big diphenhydramine fan, although you can be drowsy with either of them, Zyrtec or Benadryl. And I'll write all these down. You're going to see this on the video. I'll have all of this documented, so if you have any questions, it's right there. Aspirin. So mainstay, chewable, 81 milligrams. History of heart disease. Talk to your primary care doc about, I carry these. If I have chest pain and I feel I'm having an MI, one of the first lines of treatment is 481 milligram chewable aspirin. However, you know, you also need to know that is definitely going to thin your blood a little bit. So check with your primary care provider about whether or not you should carry your ASA aspirin with you. On this side, gauze. I rarely carry a lot of Band-Aids. With the gauze, I can cut these up. I can take some tape and I can make a Band-Aid in a heartbeat. So, however, kids, you know, I had a kid one time, about 5 years old. I did the same thing in the clinic. He was crying bloody murder after I did it, and I couldn't understand why. I took it off. He wanted a Band-Aid. Put the Band-Aid on. He was happy as can be. Medi-Rip. Walmart has this. It's really nice. Again, if you go to my last video on taking care of wounds in children, this is really nice. You wrap it, it clings to itself. It's a nice for pressure dressing, works great. Aspirin, nasal spray. Not great for nasal swelling. It works, but you don't want to use that more than 3 days. Why do I have it in the pack? Because oxymetazoline, as per our last video, it definitely slows down the bleeding and helps with minor wounds. Imodium. You always prepare for the trip, but a lot of times the night before you're going to go out, you may have a rich dinner, you may have IBS, you may have some diarrhea. It's really nice to have this along. It makes the trip a little bit better. Word of caution, you do not want to take more Imodium than is recommended. It can be, you know, effective, but you can get heart arrhythmias with Imodium. It is a mild opioid. It's been abused by people coming off opioids, and it can be dangerous. So just take it as recommended for diarrhea, and that's all you need. You do not want to take this with bloody diarrhea. Bloody diarrhea could be E. coli, it could be ulcerative colitis. There's a whole lot of things it could be. So, but this is good for your run-of-the-mill diarrhea. Tums, that's for my own gastritis, and I have some tape for blisters that I wrapped around this here, and it works great for on your heel, or if you have a hot spot on your foot, you can use moleskin. That works just as well also. Lots of gloves. Always pack your gloves. You don't know what somebody else is carrying. So you want to make sure with bloodborne pathogens. Hand sanitizer. So a lot of alcohol, great for starting fires, great for cleaning an arm, leg. If there's a wound, this works fantastic. Bic lighter wrapped with duct tape, and we're going to have a video coming up, and I'll attach that link down below when we get that running about how to close a wound with duct tape. Works really, really well. I have in here cotton tip applicators, Q-tips. This works great for flipping a lid to see if there's a foreign body underneath. So, and that's an awesome little thing to carry. And then we have safety pins in here. This is my sling. You take a safety pin or two, and you run that safety pin through their long sleeve or their coat, and you can make a nice little sling, basically attach their arm to their chest. It works fantastic. You don't need to then carry a sling. Works great. And I have a plastic bag. That's my irrigation. People sometimes carry a 60cc syringe. This, I can hold more water for irrigating than a 60cc syringe, and I pack it just like that, and that's it. I have some steri strips in here. I have some Adaptic, and Adaptic is really, it's really nice for burns. It does not stick to the wound. Great for kids, and that is just a fantastic bandage. And inside here, I have a few Band-Aids. and I have some benzoin, and benzoin is nice antiseptic. We put it also on the side of a wound, and the steri strips will adhere better. So I carry that. And I also have a stapler. I have about 2 or 3 mechanisms here to close a wound. Now the stapler, the Adaptic, when we get our medical kits ready to sell, I'm here to tell you they're going to be very inexpensive. My goal is to cut down the price of anybody else on the internet, and we're going to stock it with the exact same material that we use in the clinic. So stay tuned for that. We're about 6 months away. So that is really all I carry. Things like tweezers to remove ticks and things like that. I have on my Swiss Army knife climber. It has scissors, it has the tweezers, and it works well. So that is it. That's really all I carry. But again, I want to emphasize, if you are going to be on a 7-day excursion, then I carry more material. And I'm going to show you that bag, and we're going to go through that bag in another video down the road. I want to mention this pulse oximeter. You don't need to carry this. You really do not. So you're up at 8,000, 9,000 feet, and you're concerned that someone has high altitude sickness and they're short of breath, and you get a low reading. So what are you going to do? You're going to bring them back down. Let's say you're concerned about a pulmonary embolism, or you're concerned that they have severe COPD and you get a low reading. What are you going to do? You're going to bring them back down. I'm not really seeing the benefit of carrying this, because the treatment is going to be the same. You're going to go back down and acclimate if you have any type of headache or shortness of breath. So I don't carry a thermometer. Why is that? Know your baseline pulse. If you're a runner, your baseline pulse may be in the 60s, 70s. Know your baseline. You want to make sure if you have a temperature, for every degree your temperature goes up, your pulse rate increases by about 10 beats per minute. So that's a nice measurement to find out how high of a fever you have. So some little tricks of the trade that help, that you don't really need to carry what I call a Johnny Rescue medical kit. I'm going to put this to the side and just briefly show you I call it my base camp. So this is my base camp, and this comes from a guy on YouTube, Canadian prepper, and he has done one heck of a job. He gets some criticism, and I have to admit, his store, he has high quality goods. Let's see, it's Canadian prepper is what it is, Canadian prepper. And what I love about this roll is that everything is visible and zippered. So I can fold this out, and kind of my base camp, I replenish my little medical kit with things in here that I need. I got a camouflage one from him because it was on discount. That's the only reason I got the camo. And we're going to go through this in a future video. So I hope that helps you and gives you some ideas on your medical kit. That wraps up the medical kit. Down the road, we're going to do the base camp version, the large one. If you have any questions, write those below. That would be awesome. Questions on meds, what do you put in your kit, something I left out. If I helped you at all, or you learned something new, give me a thumbs up. That would be awesome, and subscribe. Until next time, keep your eyes on the horizon, your face to the wind, and stay safe. Take care, guys.